Hey you guys, welcome back to another video. My name's Preston and today we're going to be taking a break from studio sessions. I've uploaded 3 episodes of studio sessions in the last week, so I thought let's switch it up. But before we get into my top 10 favorite albums, let's talk about something. Earlier today, one of my friends was talking to me about something that he was really passionate about and that he wanted to start doing, but he wasn't really sure what would happen if he did this and if he chose to do this, if people would even like it, but it was something he was really passionate about. So today, I just wanted to let you guys know that you can do whatever you want, and if there's something you're passionate about, I definitely recommend you guys go chase it. Go follow your dreams and live the life that you'd want to wake up for in the morning. But with that out of the way, let's jump into today's video where I'm going to be telling you guys about my top 10 favorite albums. Let's go. At number 10, we have the Orange EP by Landon Cube. This album is from a very awesome melodic rapper named Landon Cube, and I just love his music. He does a lot of songs with Lil Skies, and that's actually how I discovered him. And since then, I've really loved his music. The songs in this album are very melodic and very catchy, and they will definitely get stuck in your head right away. If you guys have been following me for a while, you'll know that I did a cover of his song Makeup. That was a really great song and I still love listening to it, but the reason that this is in the number 10 spot is because it doesn't have that many songs in it, and that makes sense because it's an EP, but that's why I put it in number 10. Coming in at number 9 is an album that I've been listening to a lot lately, and it is Starboy by The Weeknd, and I'm sure everyone here has listened to at least a couple songs off this album. This was one of The Weeknd's first big studio albums that really got him super famous in the song Starboy. I looked it up and played it a couple weeks ago, and I realized that I still knew every word to that song, and it is just so catchy. His music is very genre bending, and it's very different for pop music at the time. It set new standards for pop and R&B music, and it is such a great project. Although this album is 5 years old, it's still really amazing and relevant, which is something you don't see a lot in today's music, especially with the artists that you see that love to hop on people's trends and just do what's popular. The Weeknd kind of broke the mold with this album. The reason I put it in the number 9 spot is the songs kind of feel really similar to each other, almost too similar to each other, and I wasn't really able to tell when a song had ended and when another song had started because they really all just kind of blend together. There are a couple songs in this album that really stand out though. For number 8, we have Don't Smile at Me by Billie Eilish. This was Billie's first EP released in 2017, and it really broke the mold for modern music. There are so many beautiful songs on this album that I just love, and I've definitely been getting into Billie Eilish a lot more recently. But I do remember when I discovered Ocean Eyes, it was probably 2017, and I just love that song, and still to this day, it's a really beautiful song. I really hope to cover this song someday soon. This album really inspired me, and the reason for that is that Billie did this mostly in her bedroom with her older brother, and I think this is such a cool thing. It also inspired me and showed me that I can make music practically anywhere. In fact, I make all my music in my bedroom, and it really shows that you don't need to have a label behind you. Although she does, it really goes to show that you don't need lots of experience to put out great music. Coming in at number 7 is This Unruly Mess I've Made by Macklemore. This album was released in 2015, and it has a really wide range of songs talking on issues of racism and drug addiction, to a bunch of fun songs like Dance Off. This album is really nostalgic to me because this was the first album that I listened to where I really kind of fell in love with rap music, because before I heard this album, I had a really negative view on rap music and I wasn't really into it. But then I listened to This Unruly Mess I Made and kind of started to form my own ideas about rap music, and that is why I love this album. Coming in at number 6 is Dropped Out of College by 24kGoldn. I remember the first time I heard A Lot to Lose, and that song just blew my mind. And then I found out that this guy, 24kGoldn, had this really amazing album called Dropped Out of College, and I listened to it and I started to love every single song that he put out. This album set new standards for melodic rap and is just a ton of fun. Also, something to add is that 24kGoldn, or at least his team, is really good at marketing and used TikTok to get this EP to the top. Along with what I said on the song A Lot to Lose by 24kGoldn, I did a cover of that song in May, and it actually received attention from him, and that's probably one of the reasons why I like that song so much. At number 5, we have Nothing's Ever Good Enough by Ian Dior. I know you guys have heard at least one song off this album. Emotions was so good. When I first heard it, I instantly fell in love with Ian's music. and it is just so good. This is one of the albums that isn't really normal for me because I actually love every song that is on this album, which usually I'll pick out my favorites in an album and only listen to those, but for this album, every song in it is just great, and I really love what he did with it. In his songs where he combines alternative rock and rap, that really inspired me, and that inspired me to make the song Rockstar, which is a ton of fun. I had a ton of fun making it, and it really sounds great. Go ahead and listen to it, but I just love how he can combine both genres and make it sound super great. Overall, I really love this album, and I listened to it a ton, and even just listening to these songs, even though I really started listening to it last year, they just feel so nostalgic for some reason, and that's probably why I love it so much. Moving on to number 4, we have Shelby by Lil Skies, and this album is awesome. I've been following Lil Skies since 2018 when he dropped Life of a Dark Rose, and I've loved his music ever since, and Lil Skies is really someone that not a lot of my friends are into. I really love his music, I love his sound, I love his message. It's really cool, and overall, this was a great album. The reason that I chose Shelby over Life of a Dark Rose is because Shelby, really, the album all fits together and all the songs kind of match up. With Life of a Dark Rose, they were kind of different and they really didn't tell a story, but Shelby does. It's really cool to see how even in a year, Skies has grown with his songwriting ability and his lyrics. It's really awesome to see. This album has so many amazing songs, including Name in the Sand, Highs and Lows, Through the Motions, Stop the Madness. So many great songs that I really, really love. It's really cool how he named the album after his mom and dedicated it to her. I thought that was really awesome. Coming in at number 3, we have All Eyes on Me by Tupac. Anytime that I'm driving with my dad, we always have this album on. Tupac honestly was one of the OGs for rap. He really kind of paved the way towards making your own sound, making your own kind of music. And even listening to some of his beats now, he was really ahead of his time. I go back and listen to his beats. Maybe producers now are kind of going back and kind of copying some of the instruments and synths and electronic noise that he used in his music. It was such a great album. And of course, I know I wasn't alive when he was alive or when he was popular, but still his music is really good. In the second place, we have Therapy Session by NF. I'm a really big fan of NF, and I actually own 3 of his CDs, Mansion, Therapy Session, and Perception. And he is just really that first rapper that I ever vibed with, and I really love the message that he gives. His whole real music slogan is so true, and I really love what he does. So let's dive into Therapy Session. This is a really great album that speaks on mental health and working hard and fame, and I really think that the message behind this album is so cool. I love how NF uses the lyrics, and NF is one of the realest rappers alive, and as I said, his whole real music slogan is super cool and it's super true. He really stays true to that and being real and authentic, and I love that from a rapper. So if you know me, you probably already know what I'm putting for number 1. In the number 1 spot, I'm putting the album Goodbye and Good Riddance by Juice WRLD. This is my favorite album of all time for so many reasons. If you guys have seen my documentary series, you would know that when I heard Lucid Dreams, I kind of was like in this awestruck state. When the bass drop hit in that song, I was just like, it was crazy. I don't even know how to describe it. I have no words for that. It was amazing music. That's really all that I can say. Every song on this album is 10 out of 10, and I love every song on this album. And I really love how it shows a story, especially with the skits in there. It shows the story of sadness. As I said, this was the first music I ever vibed with, and I just love it so much. It's crazy to think about the amount of influence that Juice had in just the 2 years that he was really famous, and that is just really crazy to think about. Think about 2 years ago. That's not even a lot of time. Although it feels like a lot of time, 2 years in the music industry is really not a lot of time, but he accomplished so much. He worked with so many great artists. He put out so much great music. He will forever be remembered as a legend. And that is why Goodbye and Good Riddance is my favorite album in the number 1 spot. Anyways, you guys, that is all. I hope you have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, and I hope you accomplish something amazing. Peace.